welcome to Vinyasa Yoga, everyone. I have people in class and I have people at home, and that's always fun. My name is Derek. I think this is everyone's first time. I don't know about at home, but it might be your first time as well. And yeah, let's get started in a seated position. We'll actually end up starting class on our backs doing some core stuff. So if you want to go ahead and head there for centering, feel free to go ahead and lay on your back. Otherwise, you can come to a seat kneeling like I am, or sitting cross-legged, or sitting up on some height, whatever works best for you, whatever feels the most comfortable. I like to sit on my knees kind of like this and this kneeling. It can be a nice little stretch through the thighs. It can also be a lot of flexion on the knees, so choose your own adventure. And go ahead and start to settle into this moment. Let the eyes start to soften or close. Teacher will mute cell phones. Start to bring your focus to the breath. Notice if there's any particular color or texture to the breath today. If it's particularly warm or maybe a little bit sluggish and chilly from the weather. Let yourself settle into this space, into this moment. In my classes, I like to structure them around this sense that yoga is about movement, but it's also a lot about kind of accepting ourselves where we're at. And I thought about this earlier. Maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't. But it's a little bit like baking. If you've ever baked bread or anything, you have a series of recipes and you start from the recipe. And the first time you make bread, you might stick right to that recipe and do everything to the light, to weigh out all the grams, go from there. But the next time you make the bread, you might feel a little bit more comfortable with the dough. You might know how it's supposed to feel or how it's supposed to look, or the texture of it as you need it. And then the next time you might add in some nuts or some kind of spice or something to make it a little bit different. And I think yoga is very similar. You know, the first time we come to the practice, we want to learn a lot of these fundamentals. And then as we start to deepen into the practice a little bit, open it up to play around with it for yourself and for your body. Don't stick strictly to, you know, the words that might be coming out of my mouth or someone else's mouth. As a teacher, we're here to guide you to really start to come to this acceptance of your own body and how it wants to move more than anything. So I encourage you throughout this class to really make it your own, especially if you're at home and you don't have a teacher in front of you. Let yourself use the breath as a guide and really feel your way through it. Feel your way through the poses. Try little subtle shifts if you're a more experienced practitioner. And if you're not, maybe stick with what I'm saying and see how that works for you. I try to offer up a lot of different optionalities throughout the class. With all that being said, take that intent and focus and run with it, or take a moment here to set your own intent for practice, something that you want to focus on. Maybe it is just that pure movement. Maybe it's something else. Maybe there's a particular emotion you want to focus on. Or it could just be staying with the breath and using that to ground yourself and stay present. I think everybody that was going to join has joined by now, so I'll end my spiel there, and we'll start with 3 rounds of breath together. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in through the mouth like sipping through a straw. And out through the nose. And then feel the lips and breathe in through the nose. and out through the nose. If you're on your knees or sitting, let's go ahead and make our way onto your back. And if you're already on your back, you're a step ahead of the game. Hang out there for a moment while we all get there. On your back, go ahead and bring the heels in close to the hips. Bring your palms down to the mat for the first couple rounds. And if you've got a block or a book or some kind of prop that you want to use, you can take it and place it between the thighs. This will help to start to cue up the lower abs and the core. Just squeeze it gently between the legs, or just imagine your thighs squeezing in towards each other. And inhale, lift the feet up into the air, bring the knees over the hips. And exhale, lower the feet down to the ground. Squeeze the core, try to pull the lower back against the ground as you lower the feet down. Inhale, lift the feet back up. Continue to squeeze the legs in. Exhale, drop the feet back down. Continue to try to keep the lower back pressed flat. Inhale the feet up. And exhale the feet down. Go through a few more rounds with your own breath. Inhale to raise, and exhale to lower. Continue to stay with the rhythm and the flow of your own breath. And see if on each exhale, you can push a little bit more air out. And if that ends up triggering the core and the lower abs just a little bit more. Do 2 more rounds with the breath here. And just 1 more. And this time, as the feet come down, if you've got a block or some kind of prop, go ahead and take it and move it off to the side. We're done with it for now. Bring the palms back down to the mat. And inhale, lift the knees up over the hips again. Feet out parallel with the ground. This time, bring your right hand up and press it against the top of your right thigh. And from here, you can make this as intense or as gentle as you want by moderating how much force you push your hand against the thigh and how much force your thigh pushes back into your hand with. Start with about 20% pressure. And if you'd like, start to slowly amp it up from there. Pretend that you're that baker. You start to get a little comfortable with the dough, maybe add a little bit more kneading. I like this analogy. I also like doing core work this way because it's more of a focus on stability than on doing as many reps as quickly as possible. Let's stay here for another 3 rounds of breath. And the same thing here with each inhale. Pull the lower back a little bit tighter against the ground. Tuck the tailbone a little bit more. And with each exhale, see if you can push a little bit more energy into the right side, into the right of the core, into the obliques. Just 1 more round of breath. And on your next inhale, bring the right hand back down. If you'd like to take a break for a second and lower the feet down, maybe come up into a quick bridge just to stretch out the right side or even the hip flexors, go ahead and do so. If you'd like to move right into the left side, go ahead and do that. Bring the left hand up to the left thigh. And again, start with that 20% pressure. Start to increase it up slowly with each breath, maybe adding 5 or 10% each inhale and each exhale, and feel it out. This side might feel different than the right side. Might feel a little bit more stable or even a little bit less stable. Three rounds of breath here. And just 1 more round of breath. And exhale, bring the feet down, bring the palms down beside the hips. Inhale, lift the hips up, another quick little bridge just to stretch out the side of the core. And exhale to lower. We've got one more core little posture on the back. So inhale, lift the feet up, knees over the hips. And this time also raise the arms up so the fingers point towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring the right arm back and the left leg out towards the bottom. So you've got this diagonal line going from your stretched out right arm all the way down to the left foot. And inhale, bring the left knee and the right arm back up. And exhale, extend the right leg. Reach the left arm back overhead. Inhale, back to the center. And exhale, lengthen the left, stretch the right arm out. Inhale to the middle. And exhale, stretch the right leg and the left arm long. Do 2 more times on each side. With your own breath, as always, continue to move and moderate the pose, however feels best for you. Maybe you don't stretch all the way out, but just go a little bit of the distance. That's totally fine too. And inhale, bring the knees and the arms back to center. Wrap both arms around the knees or the backs of the thighs. Hug in to give yourself a nice little squeeze. And from here, start to rock up and down the spine. If you'd like, you can continue to add movement until you come forward and over the ankles into a tabletop. Or you can come over onto your side and push up and then make your way to hands and knees into a tabletop on your mat. As always, choose your own adventure. Either way is totally fine. Bring the palms underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, and we're gonna stretch out the abs a little bit now. Inhale, lower the belly, raise the hips, lift the head, tilt the chin slightly, and exhale, round the spine up, press the floor away, tuck the chin towards the chest, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, raise the heart, squeeze the shoulders together, tilt the head back slightly. Exhale, round up, press down through the palms, tuck the chin tight towards the chest. Inhale, one more time, drop the belly, raise the heart, lift the tailbone. And exhale, round the spine, push the floor away, tuck the chin low. Inhale, back to a neutral spine position. And exhale, start to squeeze into the right side, lengthen through the left, gaze back towards the right toes. You're forming a C with your body almost. Inhale, come back through the center. And exhale, start to squeeze into the left, lengthen through the right, peer back towards the left toes or just the left shoulder. Inhale, back to the middle, and exhale over to the right. Squeeze into the right side, lengthen through the left, and inhale back to the middle, and exhale over to the left. Gaze back towards the left toes. Really try to lengthen as much as possible through the right side. Inhale one more time, both sides back to the middle, and exhale, squeeze over to the right. And inhale through the center, and exhale over to the left. Inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop position. And exhale, sink into the palms a little bit more, press down firmly through the fingers. Notice if you can feel a general weightlessness through the body. If not, take a moment to start to slide the hips back and forth over the wrists, over the knees. Find somewhere where you do start to feel that little bit of weightlessness, where you're equally balanced between the palms and between the knees. Inhale, press down firmly into the right palm, then twist the left up, gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, scoop the left arm underneath the right, drop the left cheek low. Inhale, raise the left arm up. Exhale, slide the left arm underneath the right. Inhale to lift. And exhale, scoop and lower. Inhale, left hand high. Exhale, bring the right hand down, the left hand down to meet the right. Inhale, press down firmly into the left and twist the right arm up this time. And exhale, scoop the right arm underneath the left, drop the right cheek low. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to slide down. Inhale to rise. And exhale to scoop and lower. Inhale, last time, raise the right arm up. And exhale, bring it down to meet the left hand, neutral tabletop. From here, inhale, tuck the toes, maybe stretch out the arches in the bottom of the feet for a moment. Exhale, start to push the hips up, push the knees up, push the hips up and back towards the wall behind you. You can keep the knees bent quite a lot here, and it might help if this is the first movement you're doing throughout the day. Start to pedal out the hamstrings, raise one heel and lower the other to add a little bit of fluidity to the muscles. If you're still dancing from foot to foot, come back to stillness. Really engage through the front of the thighs to squeeze them tight and lift the hips up a little bit higher. And then slowly drop the heels down a little lower. Try to maintain that long stretch through the spine. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze towards the top of the mat. And exhale, take about a dozen steps to walk your way towards the front. Take your time, keep bending the knees a little bit more with each step. Come up forward between your hands at the front of the mat. The feet can stay hip width apart or heel toe them together to touch. Let the head and the torso hang heavy. Sway from left to right or grab opposite elbows for ragdoll pose. Start to feel out the hamstrings, the lower back, even the knees. Take one more round of breath here. And then come to stillness. Inhale the palms against the front of the shins and slowly roll all the way up to stand. Take your time, bend the knees as you come up past them. Engage the core as you lift up past the thighs. Shrug the shoulders up towards your ears. Squeeze your shoulders together and down the back. Come to stand with the palms facing forward and mounted. Now we're on our feet. Inhale, sweep the arms out. Lift the hands up. Bring the gaze high. Exhale, bend the elbows. Lift the chest. Lower the arms into little mini cactus back bend. Inhale, reach both hands up. And exhale, bend the arms and raise the chest. And you can see that I'm only bending back just a little bit. Inhale to lift. And exhale, bend the elbows, lower the arms, lift the heart. Inhale to rise up. And exhale, swing the arms out wide, bend forward at the waist, dive down towards your toes. Inhale, lift halfway, palms on thighs or shins, chest parallel with the ground. And exhale, plant both palms, step the feet back into a plank and stay here for a few rounds of breath. You always have the option to lower down to the knees to decrease heat a little bit. Or if you'd like to play around with this pose, something fun that I've learned recently is you can widen your feet out and lift the hips up high. This will transfer a lot of the focus down to the lower core, down into the hip flexors, which if you're sitting as much as I am, it can be nice to start to strengthen that area. As always, there are many planks. There is one you. Choose your path that fits you for the day. We'll take 3 more rounds of breath here. One more round of breath. On your next inhale, shift forward, top of a push-up position. And exhale, squeeze the elbows in, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, untuck the toes, palms at the side of the ribs, squeeze the elbows in tight, raise the chest, cobra, lift the crown of the head towards the ceiling, and exhale, drop the chest back down. Inhale, lift back up, push the chest out and up, press down with the tops of the feet, and exhale to lower. One more time, inhale to lift up. This time, raise the palms off the ground perhaps, or leave them there for a little bit of support. And exhale to lower back down. Inhale, tuck the toes, and exhale, make your way back to child's pose by pushing up onto the knees, or reverse push up and lift the knees and hips up and back into down dog. Your choice. Take 3 rounds of breath in whichever variation you end up in. One more round of breath here. If you're in child's pose, make your way up to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, bend the knees, gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhale, walk or step forward between your hands. Inhale, heel toe the feet together, lift halfway, palms on thighs or shins, chest parallel with the ground. Exhale, plant both palms back down, forward fold. Inhale, slight bend in the knees, shift the weight back to the heels, sweep the arms out, lift all the way to stand, arms raised high. And exhale, bend the knees, slowly start to lower the hips and lower down into chair pose. You can keep the arms raised up overhead, or if that feels uncomfortable for the shoulders, you can bring them down, palms at heart center, or grab opposite shoulders. Take a second to glance down at the toes. And if you can't see them, start to shift the weight back into the hips a little bit more, into the heels. We'll take 3 rounds of breath here. Squeeze the thighs in towards each other. Really start to fire up those thighs. And one more round of breath. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, wing the arms up, bend forward at the waist, dive down towards the toes. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, plant the palms, step the left foot back. Press firmly into the ball of the left foot. And inhale, raise the chest slightly. Start to paintbrush the hands back and forth on the right foot. See if you can find that same place where you feel more balance between the front and the back, even in this low lunge, especially as you start to paint the hands. And on your next inhale, slowly start to raise the chest, reach the arms up, bring the gaze. And exhale, swing the hands back, lean the chest forward, pretend like you're flying through the air. Inhale, raise the torso, lift the arms up. And exhale, swing the hands back, lean the chest forward. Inhale to rise. And exhale, last time, arms back, wing them along the side of the hips. Inhale, lift the chest, raise the arms, bring the gaze up. And exhale, pivot the left heel down, bend into the right knee, open the arms to the front and back of the room for warrior 2. Bring the gaze over the right fingers and take a moment to set up your warrior 2. Doesn't matter so much if your front foot is in line with the back, just kind of matters how it feels in the hips. If you notice that your right knee is starting to dive in towards the midline, you can reach down with your right hand, place your fingers on the inside of it, and start to push them back out over the right ankle. You might feel a little bit of a stretch through the inner thigh if it's particularly tight doing this. Let's stay with this for 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale, reach the right hand forward, flip your palm up, sweep it over and back, left hand, left thigh, right arm high. Exhale, right elbow to right thigh, left arm up, or reach it overhead for a little bit more of a stretch through the left thigh. Continue to play that role of the baker. Even tiny little adjustments and poses can have great impact. Maybe just pivoting the hip a little bit more open or a little bit more closed changes it completely for you. There is no right or wrong way. One more round of breath here. And inhale, slowly bring both hands down, frame the right foot, pivot onto the ball of the left. Exhale, send the right foot back and up into the air, three-leg dog. Inhale, right foot down, shift forward into top of a push-up. And exhale, squeeze the elbows in, lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, untuck the toes, lift the chest up, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, find your way back to child pose or up and back to downward facing dog. Take 3 rounds of breath here. Take one more round of breath. If you're in child's pose, start to make your way up to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, bend the knees, gaze towards the top. Exhale, walk or step forward between the hands. You can also jump if you're feeling funky. Inhale, heel toe the feet together, lift halfway, reach the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Exhale, plant the palms down, forward fold. Inhale, slight bend in the knees, sweep the arms out, press all the way up to stand, arms raised high. Exhale, start to bend the knees, lower the hips, and drop down and back into chair pose, round 2. This time, make any adjustments that you made the first time. Shift the weight back towards the heels a little bit, find somewhere comfortable for the shoulders, and really continue to squeeze into the thighs, press them in towards each other. If you've got a block, you can even place it between the thighs like we did with the first bit. 3 more rounds of breath here. Just one more. Sure. We're just dancing right now. If you want to dance with us, well, I'm dancing. Thank you, announcements. Okay, well, I think if you were still in chair pose, good for you. On your next inhale, stand up, reach the arms high. Woo, that was a long one, wasn't it? And exhale, bring the arms out, bend forward at the waist, dive down towards the toes. Inhale, lift halfway, palms on thighs or shins. And exhale, plant the palm, step the right foot back this time, low lunge on the left side. Inhale, drive that attention back to the ball of the right foot, raise the chest parallel to the ground, start to paint your hands back and forth around the left foot. This side might feel a little bit different from the other side. You might feel more or less stable. Lean into that feeling. Be curious about it, non-judgmental. On your next inhale, drive back through the right foot, raise the chest, reach the arms up, and exhale, swing the arms back, lean the chest forward, fly through the air. Inhale to lift. And exhale, sweep them back and lower the chest. Inhale to rise. And exhale, last time, Superman through the air. Whee! Inhale, lift back up. And exhale, pivot the right heel down, bend into the left knee, open the arms to the front and back of the room, warrior two on the left. You might want to widen the stance a little bit if you find yourself scrunched up like I was, and if you feel that left knee coming over the left toes. You might want to lower the right foot towards the back. And again, same thing with the left knee. If you find it diving in, just gently push it back out over the left ankle. One more round of breath here. Inhale, reach the left hand forward, flip your palm up, sweep it over and back, right hand, right thigh, left arm high. And exhale, left elbow, left thigh, right arm up, or reach it overhead. If you do send the right arm overhead, try to suck your right shoulder into the shoulder girdle pretty firmly. Sometimes we can unintentionally dislocate our shoulders a little bit by pushing out as much as we can. So we want to have that length through the arm, through the fingertips, but also that strength and stability of pulling it back into the shoulder girdle, of really incorporating through the whole scapula and through all of the upper back and shoulder muscles. And you can kind of see, whoop, 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 whoop. Take one more round of breath here. And inhale, pivot onto the ball of the right foot, bring both hands down to frame the left. Exhale, send the left foot back and up into the air, three-leg dog. Inhale, left foot down, shift forward, top of a push-up. And exhale, squeeze the elbows in, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, untuck the toes, raise the chest, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, push back low for child's pose or push back and up high for downward facing dog. Take 3 rounds of breath. Take one more round of breath here. If you're in child's pose, make your way up to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, this time inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, right knee to the nose, round the spine. Inhale, press the right foot back and up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to rise. And exhale, knee to nose, last time, round the spine. Bring the right foot forward as much as possible without touching the ground. Inhale, sweep the right leg back up. And exhale, this time slowly and with control, bring the right foot forward between the hands. If it doesn't make it all the way, that's totally fine. Just drop down to the left knee, shuffle it forward a little bit more, and then raise the left knee back up. Inhale, lift the chest, reach the arms up, bring the gaze high. And exhale, pivot the left heel down, bend into the right, open to the front and back of the room. Inhale, straighten the right leg, bring both arms up, bring the palms together to touch overhead. Exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms back. Inhale to straighten and lift. And exhale, bend and lower. Inhale to rise. And exhale, back down. Kind of feel like a conductor. Inhale one more time, just because it's fun. Straighten the right leg, hands up. And exhale, conduct your way back down. Woo. Inhale, reach the right arm forward, flip the palm up, sweep it over and back, reverse warrior. And exhale, right elbow, right thigh, left arm high. this time with the option to bring this left hand around towards the right hip for a half bind. Or if you're feeling funky, take the right arm, circle it around the front right thigh and towards the back and clasp for a full bind. If you come into the full bind, continue to pull your chest open. Make sure that you're bearing that heart to the world. You can always use a block or a prop to add a little bit of height to the hand if you get tired of having the elbow on the knee. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. If you're in a bind, I mean, we're all in a bind, but if you're in a physical bind, slowly start to come out of it, reach the left hand back up towards the sky. And on the next inhale, slowly sweep the left arm back, stay bent in the right knee, right arm up, reverse warrior. And this time as you exhale, straighten the right leg, start to heel toe the left foot in a pace or 2. Reach the right arm as far forward as possible and bring the left arm up back behind you. Inhale, start to push the hips towards the front, move the arms towards the back. And then exhale, kick forward again. It's a funky new dance move I've done. Inhale to slide towards the back. And exhale, slide towards the front. Inhale, slide towards the back. And exhale, reach far forward and slowly start to bring the right hand down towards the leg, the left arm up for triangle. Again, you can use that block underneath the right hand for a little bit more height through the arm, or just glue the right hand against the inside of the right leg. Really ground down through the legs. Continue to pull the legs in towards each other. Like a pair of scissors cutting through like 100 sheets of cardstock, at least 100. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. On your next inhale, bend into the right knee. Bring the left hand down to the left hip. Find a block with the right hand. And if you don't have one, just kind of slowly lean forward. Bring the right hand down to the ground. And then push on to the right foot. Lift the left leg up and back. And if you've got a block or some kind of prop, you can use that here for a little bit of extra length. Flex through the left toes and press the left foot towards the wall behind you as if it was right there. You can stay here or fall over. Fall over is also an option. Or start to reach the left hand up. Maybe start to hover the right arm, or even bring the right arm up towards the heart. Stay for 1 more round of breath. Whatever's happening, embrace it, fall over. Just don't hurt yourself. Don't fall into something. And on your next exhale, bring the left foot forward to meet the right at the front in a forward fold. Let the head and the arms hang heavy. Sway from left to right if that feels good for you. Take stock of the left side versus the right. Take 1 more round of breath. Look at your toes that may or may not have had a pedicure. That's right, a pedicure, pedicure. On your next inhale, lift halfway, palms on thighs or shins, chest parallel with the ground. And exhale, plant both palms down, step the feet back into a plank, push the hips up and back to downward facing dog, or drop the knees down and push them back low for child's pose. We'll take 3 rounds of breath here. If you're in child's pose, Start to make your way up to downward facing dog. And from down dog, inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to lift. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to rise. And exhale, knee to nose. Bring the left foot forward as far as it'll go without touching the ground. Inhale, left foot skyward. And exhale, slowly step the left foot forward between your hands. If it doesn't quite make it, just adjust it forward. Inhale, press back through the right foot. Raise the chest, reach the arms up. And exhale, pivot the right heel down. Bend into the left knee. Open the arms to the front and back. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Reach both hands up, palms touch overhead. Exhale to bend and open. Inhale to straighten and lift. And exhale, bend and open. Inhale to rise. And exhale, conduct the arms back down. Because we did 4 on the other side, we'll do 1 more here too. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach the arms up. And exhale, bend and open. Inhale, reach the left hand forward, flip the palm up, sweep it over and back, right hand, right thigh, left arm high. Exhale, left elbow, left thigh, right arm up. And here's the option for a half bind on this side. Bring the right arm around behind you towards the left hip, or to come into a full bind, bring the left arm underneath the left thigh and around to clasp at the right hand. And again, if you come into this full bind expression, just try to keep the chest open as much as possible. Keep it proud. And then see if you can distribute the weight evenly between both feet. Two more rounds of breath here. If you're in a bind, start to unwind, reach the right arm back up towards the ceiling. Inhale, sweep the right arm back, stay bent in the left knee, sweep the left arm overhead. And exhale, straighten the left leg, start to heel toe the right foot forward. Reach the left arm out and as far forward as possible. Bring the right arm up behind you. Inhale, start to push the hips forward. Bring the arms towards the back. And exhale, reach forward towards the front. Inhale to slide to the back. And exhale, slide towards the front. Inhale one more time. Reach the right hand back behind you. And exhale, reach the left arm forward. Start to tick-tock the left arm down, the right arm up into triangle. Always the option for that block underneath the left hand. Add a slight micro bend into the left knee to keep it from hyperextending too much. Sometimes our knees can be very mobile to our benefit until it's a detriment. You might notice that this side feels a little tighter, either through the hamstrings or through the side body, or maybe it's a little bit looser. Be curious about that, especially as we move into half moon again. Notice what parts might feel a little weaker, or what parts might feel a little stronger and more stable. That isn't a judgment that it's better or worse, it's just what it is. Take one more round of breath here. Inhale the right hand down to the right hip. Bend into the left knee. Bring the gaze down towards the top of the mat. If you've got that block or prop or something for the left hand, great. If not, just lower down until your left hand can touch. Then spring on to the left foot. Start to raise the right leg up and back behind you. Flex through the toes. Bring the heel parallel with the back wall. And if that feels good for you, start to raise the right arm up. And again, remember that difference between the two sides. One might feel more stable than the other. Just kind of tuck that away as data for the future. Take one more round of breath here. And inhale, slowly bring the right foot forward at the front to meet the left. Let the head hang heavy. Let the arms hang down. Sway from left to right. Come to stillness at the front. Inhale, lift halfway, palms on thighs or shins, chest parallel with the ground. And exhale, plant both palms, step the feet back, lift the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg up. And exhale, bring the right knee forward behind the right wrist. Lay your leg down behind your hand. Use your left foot to start to pull the hips back and then untuck the toes. Stay here in this proud pigeon. Maybe this is enough of a stretch for the outer right hip. Or on your next exhale, start to lower down. Come down onto your forearms or down onto a block or all the way down to the ground. And if this just doesn't feel comfortable for you for whatever reason, there's always the option for a supine figure 4 on your back, which would just mean to bring the right foot over the left knee, and you can stay here or loop the arms around the left thigh and pull it. We'll stay in pigeon or supine figure 4 for about 8 breaths. Three more rounds of breath here. If you're on your back in a supine figure 4, you can go ahead and let the foot come down or switch immediately to the other side. If you're in pigeon, bring the palms underneath the chest. Inhale to lift up, tuck the left toes, raise the left knee, send the right foot back and up into the air. Take some big circles with the right leg and the hip, or stack the right hip on top of the left in a scorpion dog. Whatever feels nice for the hips as a counter pose to pigeon. Come back down into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, left knee behind the left wrist. Lay the leg down. Use your right toes to pull the hips back. And inhale, lengthen through the chest. Reach up with the crown of the head. Stay here or find your way down onto the elbows or all the way down to bring your forehead against the ground. We'll be here for about 10 rounds of breath. Take about 3 more rounds of breath here. One more round of breath. If you're on your back, feel free to stay there. We'll be joining you soon. If you're in pigeon, on your next inhale, palms underneath the chest, tuck the right toes, raise the right knee, shimmy the left leg out, back and up, three-leg dog. Take those hip circles or stack the left hip on top of the right in scorpion dog. Come back down into downward facing dog. Lower down to the knees. Walk the hands back towards the hips. Come down into a seat. Swing the legs around and towards the front. Bring the hands back behind the hips. Lower down onto forearms and elbows and all the way down onto your back. We'll end pretty much where we started. I always like to include at least one hip strengthener after doing any kind of hip stretching. So bring the heels in close to the hips. Bring the palms to press down into the mat. And inhale, prepare for bridge. Really drive down through the heels. And exhale, start to push the hips up. Lift through the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. If you'd like to take it a little deeper, shimmy the shoulders in towards the spine and clasp the hands together underneath the hips to add a little bit more bend to the back. And if you'd like to make this supportive or restorative bridge, you can take that block, slide it under the hips, or stack your hands on top of each other and rest down on top of them. Stay here for 3 rounds of breath. And just like with chair and the first ab poses we did, squeeze the thighs in towards each other. One more round of breath here. And then slow, lower all the way down, upper back, mid back, lower back, finally the hips. Inhale, lift the feet up, bring the knees into the chest, hug them in tight, rock from left to right for a low back massage, or just stay static. Whenever you're ready, take any final poses or preparations you might need or want before Shavasana. That might be a happy baby or some modified form of legs up the wall with a block underneath the hips for some support, or a supine twist with the arms out and the knees over to the side. Take about a minute here to do any last poses that your body's asking for. Or go ahead and start to make your way into your final pose of Shavasana. You can come down with the legs long and the arms along the side with the palms facing up in good old corpse pose. Or with the soles of the feet and heels together with the knees out wide in Supta Baddha Konasana. This can be nice, a little gentle stretch for the inner thighs. Whenever you do make your way down to that final pose, take one last deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth to let it all go. Release your focus on the breath. Let the fingers and toes and arms and legs relax and grow heavy. Allow yourself to melt down into the solidity of the floor below you. If they haven't yet, let your eyes soften or close or just grow unfocused. slowly start to bring your focus back to the body, beginning with your breath. Add a little bit of movement into your fingers and toes, and arms and legs. Start to gently rock from left to right, bringing movement back into the whole body. Eventually, make your way over onto whichever side is your favorite side, curled up into a fetal position. And slowly make your way up into a seat. Let the eyes stay soft or downcast or closed for another moment or two. If it feels right for you, bring your hands together, palms touching at heart center, and bow your head to seal our practice. Thank you all very much for showing up and practicing this afternoon. Hopefully we can all go through the rest of our day and the rest of the week, the rest of the month with an eye towards meeting ourselves where we are and accepting non-judgmentally all the little things about our bodies, about our emotions, and about everything else going on. Namaste. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, everyone at home. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. If you're at home, feel free to drop a chat. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day. It's not raining anymore. At least it's not raining here, so. Yeah, absolutely. It varies. Interestingly, the classes that I teach here and that I also teach online typically have less people than the classes that are just online. So I taught a class this morning, and it was 6:45, and it had probably 15 or 20 people in it. Yeah, and this one had like 6 or 7 or so. I think people like the so I used to teach at the YMCA down in Kent, and every now and then, always in Shavasana at the end of the night, because they were closing the childcare, it would come on, middle of Shavasana, just the volume was insane. It was so loud. They'd be like, "We're," and I'm like, "Oh, cool, all right." Yeah, and there's spray. There's another one there. I personally